Hollywood is burning to the ground, and it seems like no one cares. It seems like no one in the government actually cares about this. Like just this week, we sent over 500 million to Ukraine. Like we couldn't send over 500 million to the people in California who just lost everything. I guarantee you, California is not getting nearly as much money. Remember what happened in North Carolina with the hurricane and how they only got like $500? Like this is not a war zone. This is a picture of California after the fight. Like that is crazy. How's nobody like making this a bigger deal? How's like the government, how's the military not being deployed here? It's affecting everyone. I mean, Paris Hilton, like her mansion burned to the ground. I mean, she has a lot of money, so I don't think this is a big deal to her as it would be to a normal person, but it still happened. Like, what's the situation? Are we pushing the fire back? Like, I haven't really seen any reports on this. I've just seen videos on Twitter of people, you know, showing the fire, but are we winning? Are we losing? What's going on? Instead of sending millions of dollars to Ukraine or Israel, can we send some to California, regular people, Americans who lost their home?
That's right, folks. President Joe Biden is going out with a bang as he's sending more of our taxpayer dollars to none other than the Ukraine. Even though we got a lot of things that are going on right here at home. I mean, screw California, I guess. That's an awfully bad decision for Biden this late in his term, isn't it? Now, speaking of bad decisions, I got a shocking update from The View's Sunny Hostin and her husband. That's right, guys. The same host who keeps saying that no one is above the law might just have to eat her own words, especially since her husband just got named in a fraud lawsuit. And just to round things off, we got Joe Rogan with one of the craziest ideas I've ever heard. One that Joe Rogan is now pitching to President-elect Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and start things off with Sunny Hostin's husband, who is, let's just say he's in deep trouble in New York right now. Check it out. And real quick, guys, I just want to thank y'all for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing. Let's get started.
The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influenced and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The insurance firm, American Transit, was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Emmanuel denied the allegations via a statement through his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client, quote, denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket scattershot meritless lawsuit by a near bankrupt insurance carrier.
That doesn't sound too good, does it? And to make matters worse, I think Sunny made a huge mistake by addressing this on national television. Great job, babe. Because it's probably going to be used against her husband in court. I guess we can all call this a huge blunder on her part.
Wait, hold on. Let Sunny get in here.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through violence. 1 in 4 Americans say violence against government sometimes is justified. And today, in 2024, 1 in 10 Americans say violence is justified right now against corporations and government.
That's very scary.
Those are just.
And even though I don't think he might change something, he might have laid out a plan for a copycat. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who's wondering about what they're talking about, this is from last year. So the entire deal with that health insurance CEO, yeah. Now, it's just crazy to think that Sunny's husband is involved in a RICO trial. And it's not like a small deal. There's a lot of people named in this case. Now, I'm guessing that she's probably going to shut her mouth about this now. But it really makes you wonder if karma has hit her hard. So here's something that's not a wonder to any of us. President Joe Biden once again provided financial aid to the Ukraine. And it's not like we have any major problems here at home, right? Psych.
the Biden administration is sending in this latest round of aid.
The Biden administration announced today, or is announcing, its 56 weapons package for Ukraine, worth about $500 million, as you said. And among these weapons are some of the longer range weapons that Ukraine has used inside Russia. You see right there, to hit key Russian infrastructure, as well as artillery shells. Now, administration officials say this is the final money that Congress has appropriated for Ukraine for drawn down U.S. stocks that can be replenished to the U.S. military. And frankly, Amna, as you know, Ukraine needs all the help it can get.
Now, obviously, some people are disappointed by this decision. Although, as you heard, this was already set aside by the Biden-Harris administration from the get-go, meaning that the budget was already made for the Ukraine. Now, it's kind of sad when you realize that the U.S. citizens are struggling with fires in L.A. right now. And of course, there are those within the lower and middle class that are also struggling. They're suffering under these awful economic times. Now, I guess this is why there's a palpable sense of excitement with the incoming administration. Now, President Trump has been making waves as of late because of his statements regarding taking over some countries. He's also talked about Canada and even Greenland. He's also shown interest with the Panama Canal and also the Gulf of Mexico, possibly being renamed to the Gulf of America, which kind of leads me to talk about Joe Rogan because he seems to have his own brilliant idea. So Rogan posted on Trump's Truth Social on Instagram regarding making Canada our 51st state. He then captioned it with, "I say we let Mexico in too." And Mexico's leadership isn't too keen on Trump. In fact, they're pushing back on Trump's plan to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Let's start with you, Patrick, and the response by Mexico's president, very specifically to the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. That is very specifically what Donald Trump said he would do.
Yes, and of course, the legality of that, the American president just can't rewrite names on maps necessarily. But Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum was asked about it in her daily briefing today, and while it is certainly insulting to many Mexicans that this body of water that their entire lives, throughout modern history has been called the Gulf of Mexico, would somehow be magically renamed the Gulf of America. She had some fun with it at the press conference and actually sort of poked fun at Donald Trump and actually came back with her own suggestion for what this body of water could be renamed as.
Obviously, the name Gulf of Mexico is recognized by the United Nations, by a United Nations agency. Why don't we call it Mexican America? It sounds nice, right? Since 1607, the Constitution of Apatzingan referred to it as Mexican America. We're going to call it Mexican America. It sounds beautiful, right? And the Gulf of Mexico has been recognized internationally since 1607 as well. Yesterday, President Trump was misinformed. He was told that Felipe Calderón and García Luna still govern in Mexico. But no, in Mexico, the people govern.
Now, obviously, she's not open to the idea, but Trump is a good businessman. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what happens next on this one. Although Canada has already answered Trump's offer to make them the 51st state of our country. At least Justin Trudeau did. In a post on X, Trudeau said there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. The disgraced prime minister is obviously taking Trump's offer very seriously. In contrast, Elon Musk is making fun of Justin Trudeau by responding to his post on X. Elon Musk answered by saying, "Girl, you're not the governor of Canada anymore, so it doesn't even matter what you say." Now, you can say what you want about Elon Musk, but the guy is really good at trolling people, isn't he? Now, at this point, Mexico is putting up a brave face here, but only time will tell if they're really ready to back their words up with some action. And of course, the same goes for President Trump. Now, I talked about this a second ago, so I feel like it's only right to redirect you guys to a previous live stream that I did. I covered the mass evacuations that's being done in California right now and the high possibility of Trump economically pushing the likes of Mexico and Canada if they don't line up to our demands. But make sure you guys check those out next. As always, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you guys next time.